room full. This is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
My name's Grant Stain, and as you can see, I'm going to be talking to you today about how to thrive and survive in business. But this presentation might not be what you expected. So let's see. So let's get started. Come on in, guys. So first and foremost, who's this presentation for? Well, let's just ask a few questions. In fact, can I see a raise of hands? Who's already in business? And who is looking to start a business? Okay. So this presentation is for you guys. Any that didn't put your hand up, what are you doing here? So yeah, this is for people that are what we like to call entrepreneurs. So you're either budding entrepreneurs looking to start a business, or you're already in the entrepreneurial space. This presentation is for you. It's not for you if you're not thinking of starting a business. That idea scares you to death, or you've got a business and hate it. Not for you. Hopefully we haven't got any people like that in this room. We're at the franchise show. So, who am I? Who am I? My wife asks me that a lot, I've got to be honest. Grant Stain, and I'm what they call a serial entrepreneur. So that means I've had loads of businesses, and probably I've still got loads of businesses in actual fact. For the last 25 years, I've slept, lived, dreamed, breathed business. I love business, absolutely love it. And I've been in multiple sectors, including leisure. So I've had breweries, pubs, restaurants, tech, marketing, automotive. I had a supercar experience business, that was fun. All sorts of different businesses. And loved every one of them. They've not all been successful. That teaches you a lot. So I've been in the franchising space for just over 10 years. So I've been involved in several franchising businesses. Obviously you guys are all here at the franchise show, so you'll have an understanding of what that means. Franchising, I believe, is the best way to start your first business. The best way to start your first business. I currently run Blam websites, which is kind of a franchise. We call it Blam Partners. The reason it's not actually a franchise is because we're not territory based. So we basically help people set up their own digital marketing agency, but they get their own brand, and then they leverage Blam as their back office. So all of the Blam partners, there's one of them over there, have got their own digital marketing team behind them, which is the Blam team, but they run their own business, they've got their own brand. So we call that a partnership rather than a franchise. But it's kind of like a franchise in every other way, in the way we deliver the support, the training, and all of the sort of systems and processes that go with it. So, number one in the list of 10 things that are going to help you thrive and survive in business. Now, define your vision. A lot of people skip this bit out. They think about starting a business and they're focused on making money, being successful, getting a return on investment. But quite often, they don't think about what that is when they come to the bit where they are successful. In other words, having that vision of what your life is like when you achieve your goals and dreams. I call that defining your purpose. This can be one of the most powerful things when you start a business because it gives you a North Star. It gives you a vision of what your life is going to be like when you achieve all the things that you want to do. We can do this with things like vision boards. We can do it by writing down our purpose, what it is that we want to achieve and how that looks. We can visualize what that looks like. Now, a lot of people think I'm a bit woo-woo when I talk about this sort of stuff. But scientifically, this stuff works. So if you're thinking of starting a business or you're already in business, make sure you know exactly what your life looks like when you get to where you want to be. Whether that's driving around your supercars or sitting on your yacht or whatever it might be something a lot more modest. Whatever floats your boat, nail it down, get it visualized, define it. You doing it now? Number 2, identify business-specific actions and make them habit. Now, if you start in business in a franchise, the franchisor will give you specific things to do that are part of the systems and processes that are proven for that business. But there are other things that you will need to do every day, every week, repeat, in order to be successful. In my experience, where people fail or don't achieve the success that they could, it's when they aren't consistent with these habits, with the actions. So I'm talking about in our business, for example, in the Blam Partnership business, our partners are running a digital marketing agency. They need to prospect for clients, prospect for customers. They need to do that every day, a little bit every day, repeat until it's habit. Whatever the franchises you guys are looking at, there will be these repeatable tasks that you need to undertake. You have to make them habit. Consistency is absolutely key. Now, in our business, you'll notice I've put Blamability. We've actually built an online system to keep people accountable to the habits that they commit to, that they undertake every single day. Okay, number 3, a morning routine. Now, a morning routine, getting it nailed down so that it is habit, I have found when I'm doing my coaching, I've coached over 300 entrepreneurs, is the most powerful tool that you can have for success in business. Now, everybody's morning routine will be individual to them, but there are a few consistencies. And if somebody wants to dive into this deeper, because this is a whole presentation on its own, I recommend a book to read. It's called The Morning Miracle. And it talks about the lifesavers. And the lifesavers is an acronym, SAVERS. I won't run through them all now. Like I say, this is another presentation. The Morning Miracle, it's a combination of doing your exercise, your meditation, your affirmations, your listening to your favorite playlist, whatever routine that works for you in the morning to make sure that your head's in the right space right from the get-go. We do not wake up every single day whistling zippity-doo-dah, ready to take on the world. We can get out of bed, stub our toe, and the rest of the day can be an absolute waste of time. We need to take control, and we do that with a morning routine. Like I say, this one thing is the most powerful thing that I've seen change people's lives over and over again. Please don't underestimate the power of it. There's one. Morning routine, John.
Morning routine.
Morning routine. Number 4, surround yourself with like-minded people. Now, for those of you that haven't started a business yet, I would guess that most of the people that you surround yourself with aren't entrepreneurs. Now, unfortunately, that's not doing you any favours. If you are surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs, that's where you need to be. You're doing the right thing. We are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And if the people you're spending time with aren't entrepreneurs, they're going to be telling you things like, why are you thinking of spending so much money on a franchise? Why would you bother working so hard? You can make more money keeping your job. Why would you do that? People that aren't entrepreneurs don't get us, and we don't get them. Surround yourself with other entrepreneurs. Now, again, there's another presentation all about this one. But when you look at super successful people and you look at the people that they network with, that they socialize with, they're entrepreneurs. So get yourself some entrepreneurial friends, guys. Okay. Get a coach who understands your business model and has done it themselves. Now, this one, I remember when I first kind of had the light bulb moment for myself many years ago, when I got a coach who all of a sudden I felt like he got me straight away. He really understood me because he'd been there and done it. And when he gave me advice, it was just gold, absolute gold. Getting a coach can be the biggest advantage to speeding up your success. Somebody who's been there and done it. Now, if you don't know anybody, and I always encourage the people I'm coaching to find somebody like this, a mentor, somebody they can talk to and have a cup of coffee with and say, this is happening in my business, what would you do? What's your advice? You can find these guys, typically I find I'm talking about people that are close to retirement or already retired, who've got their business stripes, and they're more than happy to help budding entrepreneurs. So get yourself a coach, a mentor, somebody who understands it, somebody who's been there and done it. Okay, number 6. You need to feed this every single day, because much as I would love it to be the case, it's difficult to self-motivate ourselves every single day when life is throwing its challenges at you, which you always will. Life will always give you excuses or reasons to not be successful. It always will. So in order to combat that, we need to take control of what we're feeding our brains with motivation. Now, I do this personally with Audible, fantastic app. If you haven't got it, there is loads and loads of motivational, entrepreneurial learning, business stories on Audible. So if I'm working out in the mornings, or if I'm in the car or on the train, I can feed my brain with motivational, educational, entrepreneurial learning every single day. And it will tell me how many hours I've done each week. There's one of those quotes, isn't there, about how many books super successful people read. I listen to them. I listen to them. Okay. Number 7. This one took me a while to work out. It really did. Stay broke until you don't have to. So what I've noticed in business when I'm coaching people is that when people start making a bit of money, they start spending it. And then before you know it, they're in the same place they were before they started making it. What I recommend you do is when you're running your business, you keep the current account broke and you put the rest of it away, because you need to stay hungry. You need to stay hungry. And that's what I mean by staying broke. You're not actually broke. You're just keeping the money somewhere else so that you stay hungry. And that way, you keep pushing, you keep moving forward. You can use that money to invest. You can set yourself targets and goals as to what that money needs to be in order for you to be able to celebrate. That's the bit where you don't have to. But in the meantime, stay broke, stay hungry, keep moving forward. Okay, number 8. Now this is another one. It was a bit of an epiphany for me, because I ran a business for probably 7 years before I realised I was a salesperson. So I had a marketing agency where I kept trying to employ salespeople and failing miserably. And all the clients that I had, the business was doing well, I'd got on board without realising I was a salesperson. I didn't have a system or a process. When you're in business, you are in sales. Learn how to sell. Because whether you're doing a presentation, a pitch, you're speaking to the bank manager, you're trying to take on a new supplier, that is selling. Learn the psychology of sales. It will teach you so much about business. It will teach you so much about life. Now, there are loads of gurus out there that will teach you different systems. They've all got merit. I'm not going to say there's one that's better than the other. I've got my personal favourites. I was actually trained as a Sandler sales, so they call trainee or whatever that is. It's actually a franchise, by the way. I don't think they're here. It's an awesome sales system. It changed the way I did business. And when I realised, even though my mentality was before this, I'm the MD, I'm the CEO, I'm not in sales. That sounded like a dirty word to me. I didn't like the idea of being a salesperson. When I went on the Sandler course, it's called the President's Club, it helped me understand as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, that selling is the most important thing in my business to actually grow it, even though I didn't see myself as a salesperson. So learn how to sell, because that's when I started accelerating my business. That's when I was able to start training my team on how to sell. And that's when I started realizing that so many of the transactions, the negotiations, the things that you do in business are actually selling. So learn how to sell. And the psychology part of it is the bit that's really fascinating, because it's quite scientific. It's quite, it's all about the human, the way humans interact. And it's fascinating and really good fun. Really good fun. Okay. Number 9. These aren't in any particular order, by the way, because diary management is actually really, really important. Now, you guys, you're all at the franchise show. Some of you are looking at purchasing a franchise, and a lot of you will have only had experience of being an employee. When you're an employee, you get told what to do, and if you don't do it, you run the risk of losing your job. And so you do all the things you need to do to get your job done. When you become an entrepreneur, you haven't got a boss. You've got nobody telling you what to do. And I see it over and over again. When people become an entrepreneur, they start to put their efforts into the wrong things, spend time doing things, thinking they're busy, when really it's not what is going to be making their business move forward. When you become an entrepreneur, your new boss is your diary. Your diary needs to be an absolute machine. Making your diary tell you exactly what you do, right up to the bit where it says, go to bed, or watch TV, or all the other things that you got to do for your job. By the way, guys, I'm not a big believer in work-life balance. Somebody asked me that earlier today. Well, how do your partners, franchisees, have a work-life balance? I'm not a great believer in that. I like a work-work balance. And what you'll find is, this one isn't on the slide, by the way, most super successful people are the same, because when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work. And that's really important. You look at all super successful people, they work like maniacs because they love it. They love it. And that's what I recommend you guys find, is something you love. Now, when you love what you do, it's really easy to fill your diary with loads of stuff to do with work, and then to be able to make sure that every appointment with yourself in your diary, getting stuff done, is implemented as if it was like the most important client. So when you've got these daily habits that you know you have to undertake in order to be successful, you diarise them and you make sure you get them done. Diary management is your new boss, and that's going to be a massive plus on your road to success. There's something that is such a true phrase in franchising, and I guarantee every franchisor here will resonate with this statement. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Now, every franchisor here has got a proven system, but I guarantee every franchisor here will have franchisees that aren't successful, because you've still got to implement the system that you are given for any one of these franchisees. And that means that you've got to be self-motivated, you've got to be self-disciplined, and you've got to get the tasks done that achieve success. Diary management, when you are disciplined, is going to give you a big step in that direction. Okay, last one, 10th, but it's not the last one, it's not the least important, but this one is something that my team will probably having a little smile about, because it's something that's really close to my heart, and it might sound a little bit harsh, but reward yourself for actual success, not mediocrity. And I say this because what I've noticed with entrepreneurs is when they're new, sometimes they can get a little win and they can get overexcited by that win and take their foot off the gas. Now, I will say to my team, if you get a little win and it's not achieved the big goal, we put our foot further down. We use it as motivation. We go harder. We actually do more. We use it as motivation. Because quite often what can happen, we can celebrate something that is not the big goal, still a little win, but take our foot off the gas. And I've seen that happen over and over again. So don't celebrate average. Don't celebrate every single little win. Use it as the energy that makes you go even harder. Because if you want to be successful, guys, you've got to work like an absolute maniac. And why wouldn't you, if you love what you do? Awesome. That's the last one, guys. I'm open for questions. I hope you've enjoyed it, but feel free to ask away if anybody wants to ask anything about business in general, any of these numbers. I'm all yours, guys. Diary management. Yeah, so the question was an example of diary management. That's a really good question, because I mentioned earlier that in my diary, for example, I diarise when to go to sleep, because having the right amount of sleep is going to be really important to the energy that you have when you get up. And sometimes if you're working late, or maybe you're just watching a movie or whatever, you might go past your bedtime, and that's going to mess up the next day. So just putting in a reminder to say go to bed, which picks up on my phone just before 11 o'clock every night, is an example. Another example might be booking appointments. So one of the things that business owners need to do in certain businesses will be booking appointments with prospects, for example. Now, that's one of those things that people will always find a reason that they need to do something else instead. Like, I'm busy with a client, I'm busy doing this, I'm busy doing that. If you diarise booking appointments as an appointment with yourself and your telephone or your email system, wouldn't necessarily be an appointment with anybody but yourself, but that will be blocked out in your diary, ring-fenced, sacred. Does that answer the question? Awesome. Any other questions, guys? I always think if I don't get many questions, the presentations have just answered everything. Brilliant. All right, guys. Well, appreciate your time and attention. My name's Grant Stain. If you want to come see Blam Partners, we're on stand 513 over there. If you want to hear about the Blam Partnership program, there's a prospectus here. And feel free to have a chat afterwards if you'd like to. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.